Hello students, welcome to 6th standard NCERT book, where we will be seeing what are the important areas that is required. Most of these I have already covered in the basic lectures itself. But I'll just show you which are the important lines that you have to read in this book. That should be more than enough for your preparation, right? So just try to underline what are the important areas that I am suggesting you. And if at all there is any word or statement which I have not explained, I'll just explain that particular thing. I hope that is clear. Let us not waste time in these books much. Maximum by next half an hour or 40 minutes, we should be able to complete this particular book, right? So let's quickly get into the chapters one after the other. I request you all to take your NCERT books and also mark this so that there is a feeling that you have covered this particular topic. The first chapter is actually about the Earth in the solar system, where they try to talk about the planet, solar system, universe and other things. Within this, they try to talk about the full moon and new moon in the beginning. What exactly is the meaning of this? Full moon means Purnima. You can see the moon, that is moon is visible. New moon means Amavasya, that is moon is not visible. Usually students get confused. What is full moon and what is new moon? Only for those people who get confused, this we have to see. Whatever bodies are there in the universe, we call those objects to be celestial bodies. And if these celestial bodies are hot, and if they emit large amounts of heat, we call it stars. Very, very important. Then we need to look at constellations, that is a group of stars. Different group of stars are called as constellations and they are given different names like Ursa Major, Big Bear or something. And in this, what is more important for you is you have to remember Saptarishi. If you actually can see the 7 stars, with the help of the last 2 stars, you can actually locate pole star. Is it important? Yes. The reason is pole star usually points to the north and people use this as a direction point to reach different parts. UPSC has actually asked you, you are in a desert and you can locate the north star. You know that your house is in the east. How do you usually go? Right? Usually whenever we say this, you have north, south, west, east. If pole star is towards north, you will go to the right of the pole star. This is what you need to answer. So these type of questions also come, and north and south, as they are talking, they try to help us to locate with the latitudes as well. And then they are talking about the planets. When they talk about the planets, they talk about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, which has rings, and these are actually made up of dust particles or small debris. Very, very important. Later, when we talk about the solar system, I have already spoken about the inner planets which are closer to the sun and made up of solid rocks, outer planets which are gaseous, right? And then when we say or when we talk about the inner planets, it's very, very important for us to say that we saw the difference in the 11th standard NCERT book already, that is the primordial atmosphere whichever was present in this was removed. But in the outer planets, they are held firmly because they are far off and the gravitational pull of those objects are more because the size is more. Here the gravitational force is less when compared to that. Have you seen all these factors? So in between the inner and outer planets, you have asteroids, celestial bodies which are actually present in between the inner and the outer, or in between Mars and Jupiter. After this, we should be aware of the Earth's twin, that is Venus, right? And then Earth shape is geoid. What is the meaning of geoid shape? Equator is bulged, poles is flattened. And because of this, usually we say that near poles, it is closer, gravitational pull is more. Equator is farther, gravitational pull will be less. And as 2/3 is covered by water, we call it blue planet. And when we talk about the moon, one important fact that you have to remember is the distance is 3,84,400 kilometers. Why should we remember when we talk about Mangalyaan and other things? This is important. Asteroids, I just showed you, it is actually in between Mars and Jupiter, correct? And then the next important thing you have to see is with respect to meteoroids. They are small particles which are revolving in the entire solar system, and sometimes they may enter into Earth as well. And whenever they enter into Earth's atmosphere, when we talk about mesosphere and all, because of friction they burst or they burn. And sometimes they may still come and hit the Earth's surface. Asteroids, you might have heard that I told you there was a big rock which came and hit the Earth, and because of this moon got separated and Pacific Ocean is also being present. So different stories are there, but we should be aware that when we talk about the meteoroids, right, or when we talk about asteroids, these are the celestial bodies which are present in our solar system, right? And then the entire stars are again divided into galaxies, and our solar system is present in Milky Way galaxy or Akash Ganga, and the multiple galaxies usually form universe, right? Multiple galaxies usually form universe. So these are some of the important things that you need to see with respect to this chapter. Then the second important chapter is latitude and longitude. And when we talk about latitude and longitude, I have clearly explained with respect to Eratosthenes, where he spoke about Syene and Alexandria. And when he spoke about Alexandria, you remember there was a shadow. And when he spoke about Syene on June 21st, there was no shadow. And on the basis of this, he found circumference of the earth. And with the help of that, he started first to draw equator, and then degrees were there, and each degree was made a latitude. And these latitudes are parallel, and we say that they have 111 kilometers difference between each latitude, right? And the tilt of the earth is called as axis. I have told you earth is tilted at 23.5. I hope you remember that, right? And equator divides earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, and you must be aware of parallels of latitudes, right? And then important latitudes, you have equator, Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degree north, Arctic Circle 66.5 degree north, Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degree south, Antarctic 66.5 degree south. Just revise along with me so it will be easy for you. Heat zones of the earth, when we divide, you know that wherever the sun's rays is vertical, usually it will be hotter between 23.5 to 23.5 north and south. We call it to be torrid zone, right? Very, very important. Then between 23.5 to 66.5, 23.5 to 66.5, the sun's rays is not vertical but they are slant, and we call it temperate zone. Above and below 66.5, that is Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle, we usually receive less heat, and the zone is called as frigid zone. And then we need to look at longitudes. What are these longitudes? Longitudes are nothing more than the imaginary lines which are moving north-south in direction, and they meet at the poles. Can you see here? They converge at the poles. So as they converge, they are not parallels. So they are closer. Can you see the distance between two longitudes is closer near poles, and as you come closer to equator, the distance increases. This is what we need to understand. And I have already told you with respect to prime meridian, France and Britain were fighting for this prime meridian, and actually who got this? Britain got this. So now we see the 0 degree prime meridian actually passing through Britain. And the 0 degree usually divide the earth or globe into western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere. This is important. Longitudes help us to calculate time. So timeline, and we have also seen dateline, right? All these things are important for us. So can you see, if you are taking Eurasia from here till here, time zones keep on varying. Whenever the east-west extension is more, so if longitudes pass like this, right? And if you have 15-degree difference between each longitude, what will happen? This will be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour away. Can you see this? So this is how you try to calculate, and you have also aware that 15 degree is equal to 1 hour, 1 degree is equal to 4 minutes. India's standard time is 82.5 degree east. So if you are considering prime meridian, India is 5.5 hours away. Can you see eastern hemisphere? You add. Western hemisphere, you subtract. This should be clear, right? So, because sun's rays will fall first on the eastern hemisphere, then it will be there on the western hemisphere. So from prime meridian, from UK, India and other countries will be ahead. From UK, if you consider US and other countries, US, South America will be behind. This is what we need to understand. And for you, the assignment is 82.5 degree east. Whenever I am talking about, you should try to see which are the states through which 82.5 degree passes. The second important thing you have to remember is the distance between Gujarat and Arunachal Pradesh is almost 30 degree. That means 2 hours difference is there. And as the sun's rays usually comes from east to west, earth moves from west to east, but sun's rays usually come from east to west. So usually this portion gets sun's rays first. So they will have sun's rays first or morning first. And if you usually delay the time, so earlier during agricultural period, the benefit for these people were on the basis of the sun's rays, they used to start working. But now office times varies, so it will be already 12 o'clock according to them, but you are 2 hours behind. That means you are just at 10 o'clock, correct? At 12 o'clock, actually they go to office. According to them it is 12, but the time they have changed and it is 10 o'clock for them. So again it will be late night, but still they have to work. So this is the problem that they face. So they are requesting now to have their own time zones. But one practical problem is when we talk about integrating or when we talk about railway zones and all, they have one standard time. That standard time will be affected. That is what the government is thinking, but there is a committee set up to read about this. So let us see at that point of time what the committee wants to say. I hope that is clear. There is nothing much to see about this in this chapter. The last important thing is Russia's east-west extension is more, so they will have more longitudes present. Is that fine? After this, let's take up motions of the earth. When I talk about motions of the earth, I am talking about rotation and revolution of the earth, right? You are all aware that rotation 24 hours, revolution 365.25, that is 1/4. That is why once in 4 years you get leap year, right? Rotation, whenever I am saying, you should be aware of circle of illumination. That is, whenever you take earth at any point of time, half of the earth receives sun's rays. So if I say this, can I say, can you see northern hemisphere? This is getting straight, 23.5 is getting vertical lines, and entire north pole receives sun's rays. Entire south pole doesn't receive sun's rays, right? Can I call it as northern summer, southern winter, right? This is what we try to understand. And then when we talk about the revolution, can you see here, the sun's rays is vertical on equator, equinox, March 21st, Chaitra 1, when you actually have your New Year day. And then the sun's rays will fall vertically on 23.5, northern summer, winter in southern hemisphere. We call it summer solstice. Days will be more in the northern hemisphere, less in the southern hemisphere. Equinox, it will be equal. Again you have equinox, days and night will be same. Again, can you see here, 23.5 sun's rays is falling vertically on Tropic of Capricorn, summer in the southern hemisphere, winter in the northern hemisphere. Days will be longer in the southern hemisphere, days will be shorter in the northern hemisphere. As you are all aware, winter means sun's rays will be there only till 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And whenever we talk about the summer in the northern hemisphere, sun's rays will be there till 6 or 7 o'clock. So days will be usually longer. Equinox, it will be having same day and same night throughout, that is 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. You're also aware that the earth revolves in elliptical orbit. I have also shown you apogee, perigee, farthest place and closest place to the sun as well. As I have already told you, summer solstice, winter solstice, equinox and the impact on day and night, right? And this is the reason why you have seasons. Rotation and revolution usually determines day and night and also seasons. See guys, rotation alone does not determine day and night. North pole, if you have to consider, if you consider only rotation, if it is summer solstice, it will be only day. If you consider southern hemisphere, it will be only night. But if you have to see any particular area, complete earth having day and night, then it is rotation and revolution as well. Till 66.5, rotation is enough. Above 66.5, revolution is also important, because above 66.5, day and night means 6 months of day and 6 months of night. That is important for us. Then we need to look at a chapter which is not so important, that is maps. Here I just want to tell you only one thing, that is there is something called as physical map and something called as political map. What is the meaning of physical map? Physical map means you have mountains, plains, plateaus, everything being clearly explained. When we talk about political map, we talk about places, capitals, states, boundaries and all being given. That is the only thing, practical application, that is required, else this chapter is not required at all. Is that fine? So guys, we are done with 4 chapters. Let us take the 5th chapter now. Then let us take major domains of the earth. That is, we need to talk about lithosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere. We have already seen how it is formed. Here we just need to look at some of the definitions and some additional facts which is given here. So here you should be aware that lithos means stone, atmos means vapor, hudor means water, bios means life. Sphere is the place that you are actually looking at. Solid portion of the earth on which we live is called as lithosphere. Gas, which is actually surrounding in layers, is called as atmosphere. Water, which is covering, is called as hydrosphere. And biosphere, where life is present. We have already seen in basics completely. Lithosphere is further divided into ocean and continent. Oceanic plate, continental plate, Sial, Saima, all this is already seen, correct? And when we talk about the highest mountain peak, it is Mount Everest. And within the Pacific Ocean, when we talk about the trenches, I have already shown you subduction zone trench will be there. Mariana Trench in Pacific Ocean is the deepest part of the world. When I talk about continents, you have 7 major continents. You're all aware of Asia, in which we are present. Usually Asia is there from equator and from Tropic of Cancer till 66.5, and even it extends almost into Arctic near Russia, right? And then it is separated from Europe by Ural Mountains. If you look at Russia, Russia is present both in Europe and Asia. You call it Eurasian country. Europe and Asia, we call it Eurasian country. And European Russia and Asian Russia is actually separated by Ural Mountains. Very, very important. Next you have Europe, smaller than Asia, and it is surrounded by Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea. Africa is the only continent where you have equator, 23.5 degree north and 23.5 degree south. That is, in torrid zone, Africa is usually present. Then North America, 3rd largest continent and mostly present above equator. South America, below equator, Amazon is important. Australia is an island continent. Antarctica, people are not present, but some scientific innovations takes place. For example, Maitri and Dakshina Gangotri. Is this clear? Then we need to talk about hydrosphere, where we say about or where we read about oceans, rivers, lakes and all. Earth is called as blue planet mainly because 70% of the earth is covered with water and 29% is covered with land. No need to see this. And when we talk about oceans, again they are talking about Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, that is in between continents, and Antarctica, whatever ocean is called as Southern Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean, right? And then when we talk about the Pacific Ocean, it is one of the largest in the world. Mariana Trench, the deepest, is also present here. Atlantic Ocean, you have S shape, North America, South America, Europe and this, and even the mid-Atlantic ridges are present in S shape. I hope that is clear. And most of the coastline is indented. Can you see this? It's not curved like this. India's, if you see, it is curved. But here can you see? Indented. Usually because erosion takes place. And wherever you have indented coastline, ships can usually come closer, right? Natural harbors will be usually there. This is one of the important factors. The Indian Ocean is the only ocean named after India, and the shape is triangular, right? Most of the continents' shape are triangular in nature. Then we need to talk about atmosphere, and when I talk about atmosphere, the bottommost layer is troposphere with increasing high temperature decreases. And can you see stratosphere? Ozone layer being present with increasing high temperature increases. Mesosphere with increasing high temperature decreases. Thermosphere with increasing high temperature increases. And when we talk about this, most of the Earth's gases or atmospheric gases are actually present in the troposphere and not present above. And usually till mesosphere some sort of continuity is there, that is like glacial mixture is there, but once you move above you won't find any mixture, they are present in layers. Then we need to talk about biosphere. I have already spoken about this just now. If you have completed the bio-geo basics, you might have seen about biosphere. See guys, for the sake of explaining and for the sake of wasting time, we shouldn't do it. Usually the plan will be to take up latitude, longitude and try to explain each and every basic thing. But I have made a separate lecture on latitude and longitude with different pictures, so that will be helpful. Here you just need to mark those points as notes because I have not dictated notes for you, right? As I have not dictated notes, you may not be able to recollect it after a particular point of time. So in NCERT, if you can mark them, that is your notes. I hope that is clear.